wow, have we ever got a treat for you today? It's one of the things my dad hasn't talked about, but it's glorious. What is that?
The glories of the submarine world in tropical sea. It first was revealed to me in Tulum, Quintana Roo, Mexico, which is on the shore of the Caribbean Sea, on the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula. Nowadays dominated by a famous or infamous resort, the murder capital of Quintana Roo, Cancun,
Oh.
where Canadian tourists apparently get murdered.
It's only the murder capital because there's the more population there.
Yeah, because there's more people there, that means there's more murderers there.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
it's
more
really
victims.
that's just really a fear tactic to prevent tourists going there because
Yeah.
whatever government would prefer them to stay in
To
their
go
own
to
country.
Acapulco.
No, stay in their own country because they spend money there. So they say, oh, don't go to Mexico. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
But there's
It's
different
always
places.
dangerous.
Well, some places are more dangerous than others.
Yeah, and one of the most dangerous places is the coral reef that runs from Cancun south, parallel to the beach, less than a kilometer from the beach.
Yeah.
There's this long line of coral.
This is Mexico's Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the longest coral reef in the northern hemisphere.
Oh,
You know what the longest one in the southern hemisphere
the
is?
Great Barrier
The
Reef.
Great Barrier Reef, yeah, where I've also
Yeah,
been underwater.
that's another one.
Both
another
places are
different story.
magic. It's just
Yeah.
magic. When you get down there, it's forms of life which you just couldn't imagine. You couldn't dream of things like that. Animals that look like plants, plants that look like animals, like a sponge, which is a static, living thing like a great big cone, like a traffic cone. Except it's not plastic. And a sponge. These are animals, but they don't move. And then plants that attack animals. All sorts of weird and wonderful, colored, gorgeous colors underwater. And because the sunlight, the sun being directly overhead most of the time, comes down through this clear water and illuminates everything with wonderful colors. It just blows your mind, if you've got a mind.
What happens if you have mushrooms while you go
Oh, I
underwater?
couldn't imagine that. It is like a mushroom trip, just going underwater and swimming
Yeah.
around a coral reef. But be careful what you touch,
Yeah.
because some of that coral is called flame coral. So called because if you touch it with your naked hand or finger, it feels as if you put your finger in the fire.
But then the burning doesn't go away then, right? If you take your hand
No,
off.
it keeps on burning.
Ah.
But it doesn't actually burn, it just feels as if it's burning. So be very careful, or wear gloves.
Yeah.
That's what I always did after I touched flame coral
Then you
once.
wore gloves.
Then from then on, I always wore gloves because you do want to touch coral to anchor yourself. Because when you dive down to the bottom to get closer to the wildlife, the air in your body tends to bring you back up to the surface. So you want to hang on to something. You dive down and grab a piece of coral, but not
yeah.
flame coral.
Oh yeah, so you're talking about skin diving. Not
Skin
scuba.
diving, yeah.
Scuba, they have weights.
Yeah, and scuba diving, yeah, you have a lead belt around your waist, and
You have
That-
to because the air tanks are pulling you up.
yeah, the air tanks buoy you up, and the lead weight on your belt carries you down so that you can hover, say, 10 meters below the surface. Well, in this coral reef, Quintana Roo, you don't have to go 10 meters deep. Like, as soon as you get your head under the surface, you're in that world of the coral reef where the lobsters live. And lobsters are the most delicious food ever created by Jehovah or anyone else.
Yeah, any of the totems.
Yeah, any totem. Yeah.
I remember being there in Tulum when I was 4 and 5. And
Yeah,
we'd get those
and you would-
tropical fish
You were in the kayak while I was diving
Yeah.
and hunting, and you would put your head over
in the
with the
mask.
mask and
Yeah.
look through the mask and see all the wonderful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when you're down there, you participate in that life, the swarm of life and death, because everything is hunting everything else or being hunted.
Uh-huh.
And so there's a lot of death going on, a lot of eating.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel part of it. You feel very edible yourself, because when you meet a barracuda never backs down. A barracuda looks at you in the eye,
Oh.
just like a Doberman Pinscher.
Mhm.
You are potential meat for a barracuda. It's not a big fish. No longer than about a meter long, and not even that, or more. But about a meter, but he's fast and deadly, and fearless, and arrogant, and confident, and very Germanic, Prussian.
Yeah.
And a barracuda, they're not only deadly, but they hunt in packs. And the first time I met a barracuda, I met a whole bunch of barracuda, which was very scary, because I could see in the distance a thing like parallel bars, like Venetian blinds in the water, just so far away that they were vague. And I swam closer, wondering what is these lines in the water. And when I got close enough to focus on them, I saw that each line was a barracuda. And they were just in parallel formation, just hovering around, and they saw me and thought, look, a delicious human being. So they swam towards me, expectantly,
Yeah.
and I had a spear in my hand, which I waved at them and said, if you come any closer, I'll gut you. And
Which sounded more like.
well, I didn't say anything. I thought it. I thought that
Yeah. Telepathy.
they'll be telepathic. Of course, barracuda are telepathic. And then, of course, they can understand human thought, or at least the thought of a human being waving a spear at them.
Yeah. The intention.
Yeah.
Menacing.
Self-defense at all costs. I'll fight to the last man. I am the last man.
Yeah.
And these barracuda followed me all the way back to the beach. Because I had at that time already nailed a few fish, and I was wearing them on my belt.
Oh.
Well, a belt was all I was wearing, but my belt was fish
Yeah.
on a string tied around my waist.
So that makes you prime shark bait.
Oh, yeah, and barracuda bait. The barracuda much more deadly than sharks.
Oh.
I met a shark on that
Yeah.
reef one day, and I
Yeah.
found out there's nothing to fear.
So my dad swam with a shark without being eaten alive.
Yeah. I dived. There was a great big coral formation shaped like a gigantic mushroom, about 8 feet across from above. It looked like a sort of dome effect, like a mushroom cap. And I dived down under it and came face to face with a shark who was resting temporarily under the shelter of this coral. And sharks, when they sleep, they keep aloft by flapping their fins gently, and so they can maintain their position. But that puts them in a very vulnerable state because they're unconscious, because they're asleep. And this shark was having a nap, and he woke up and he saw me looking at him through this great glass thing, and he thought, good God, a one-eyed human. And he turned tail and fled at high speed.
Cyclops.
Yeah, like I looked like a cyclops. I guess, yeah. Yeah, a man wearing a dive mask does look pretty horrific to a shark. And so I learned the secret.
The Symposium of Sycophantic Cyclops.
Sycophantic, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Pusillanimous, never mind.
Petulant.
So I expectant petulance, flatulence, violence.
Violent flatulence. There's a story to that yesterday.
Was there?
I think so. You told it.
Violent flatulence?
Yeah. It's where you're eating in a restaurant and they don't have a proper baño.
Oh, yeah. Well, they had a baño, but it wasn't one you could shit in. Never mind. That's another story.
Right. It's
Let's
already
not
been
get
told.
distracted. Right.
We have to focus on
So
the
the
reef.
shark went one way, horizontally, and I went the other way, vertically up to the surface, and found I was a long way from my kayak. But never mind, I went down again and met these barracuda who sniffed all the dead fish on my string around my waist and came towards me expectantly, thinking I was going to feed them one way or the other. So I turned tail and swam back towards the beach, which was a long way away. And the barracuda followed me all the way to the beach, circling around me. Actually, it ended up with just one barracuda, but he was the most evil of the whole bunch. He was like their Captain Hook. He swam around and around, and he never let his eye waver from mine. He was continually staring me in the eye, trying to intimidate me, just like Max, my Doberman, would with the driver of a car. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But he didn't get it. I got to where I could touch bottom, and then I ran like hell up the beach, out of Barracuda land, and gutted my fish and ate them. Well, I cooked them, then ate them.
Did you have chips too, or just fish?
Chips?
Yeah, fish and chips.
No, I didn't have any chips.
But that may have been the first thing I cooked. Chips. You cut up potatoes into like things, you know, that they serve at McDonald's, and put it into deep frying oil.
Yeah.
On a rocket.
Yeah.
Or a frying pan. It might have been a frying pan.
Got to be a pretty deep frying pan.
Yeah. Well, either a saucepan full of oil or a frying pan. I don't exactly remember.
It was a wok, actually. You're thinking about that time we were camping up near...
Well, at Tulum.
Oh, we made chips in Tulum?
Yeah.
Did we?
I'm saying this is the first time I cooked.
Oh.
It's at Tulum, probably.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was, yeah. The first time you cooked independently.
So one thing is, if someone asks how hot is the oil hot enough, you have to look at it, not touch it.
Not put your finger in it, yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't learn that from doing it. I learned it from seeing someone else do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome.
You brought someone for me to learn from. There's always room for one more on the trip.
You can always squeeze a little more on.
Yeah.
Toothpaste.
Like mustard or horseradish on the sausage slices in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, what else? What other fish did you see?
Oh, yeah. Well, I also swam underwater at Cipolite. I'd go fishing for my dinner. And in Cipolite, there are many species of tuna. And the most prolific species of tuna there is called barrilete. And they're about that long and about that fat.
Oh, okay. Show us again. Long?
Long, about that long.
Oh, yeah. I got to zoom out.
Half a meter.
There we go.
And about a foot diameter in circumference. And they're fat little fish. They swim very fast. And they're a hunter, like all tuna. They're carnivorous and habitual. What I mean by habitual? Well, I mean, they swim round and round the same place looking for fish. And where they swam round and round was a big rock off the coast of Cipolite. It's called the Piedra Blanca, the white rock, and it was white because of all the bird shit on it. The pelicans would roost on this rock, and of course where pelicans roost, they also shit. And pelican shit in the hot sun turns white because of all the calcium. And so this rock called White Rock, it's like a rock coming out of the sea. There's no beach. There's no place to land. It's just a rock, vertical rock. But around that rock, underwater, there's a phenomenal topography of boulders and chasms, ravines, cliffs and valleys, all underwater, going quite deep, maybe 40 feet deep, which is a favorite breeding ground and hunting ground of fish. And the Barrilete...
It sounds like because the rock is there and the birds go up there and poop, then they're fertilizing. So all this food is dropping down, and so then everything that grows underneath there with the supply
is fertilized.
Of food. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a prolific place for life and, of course, death. Hunting. Mm-hmm. And the tuna go there to hunt, and they go round and round and round the rock underwater, gobbling up their prey.
Yeah, something wicked this way comes.
So I figured this out pretty quick. I went out there in a kayak and anchored my kayak. I had an anchor and a long rope. That's another story. Oh. And I bailed out and put on my fins and snorkel and mask, grabbed my spear gun, and dived underwater, and I saw these tuna swimming in packs around and around the rock. And I figured they'd just keep circulating around the rock in their never-ending search for something to eat. Well, I thought I'll give them a nasty surprise. So I went down and hid behind a big rock, maybe about 5 meters underwater, and I loaded and aimed my spear gun, and these fish were circulating in a anti-clockwise direction. Mm-hmm. But luckily they kept on circulating. They didn't seem to figure out they were going anti-clockwise. Well, maybe because it's the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Anyway, I didn't have to wait very long, because sooner or later a couple or three of these Barrilete came into view, swimming very fast, straight at me in my hiding place. So I jumped or swam out from my hiding place with my spear gun leveled, aimed, and shot one right in the face, greatly to his surprise, which killed him pretty much instantly, the spear going through his head. And so I grabbed the spear and hoisted him up to the surface, got him off the spear and put him in my kayak. And pretty soon after that, I paddled back to the beach and gutted him and flayed him and put him on the grill over a big fire and had roast Barrilete, which is very, very nourishing meal for a human.
I thought this was tuna.
It is a kind of tuna, yeah. Okay. The Barrilete is a subspecies or a variety of tuna.
Oh, yeah. I love tuna.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of tuna in Playa Chicala.
Oh, yeah. I bet there's a lot. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The first time I ever caught a Barrilete, I wasn't even swimming. We were camping at a place... can't remember the name of it, but it's on the coast of Jalisco, south of Puerto Vallarta, and it's a delightful place. You've been there. There was an abandoned restaurant there, a big circular palapa, and a ruined hotel up on the hill, high-rise hotel, all abandoned, ruined, but still privately owned. Anyway, you can camp on this beach, and it's fine water there, lovely clear water as usual in Mexico, but no surf, because there are a bunch of islands offshore that break the surf. But I was down there once on my Sopilotes del Norte trip.
One of them.
Eh?
One of them.
Yeah, one of the early trips when I had a woman called Katie and a man called Len. Len was from the Yukon. And we were camped on the beach, and a rogue wave managed to hit the beach, a big surf wave, and it crashed on the beach. And of course, when a wave hits the beach, it comes flooding up the beach, all this water, and then it recedes back down the beach. But when it receded, it left behind a number of fish who were stranded on the beach. They were riding the wave, and all of a sudden they're on dry land.
Yeah.
Including a couple of Barrilete.
So this beach delivers food to you right on the beach.
Right to your doorstep, yeah. So we rushed down, and I had a plastic pail, like that one.
Yeah.
And I grabbed this Barrilete by the tail and threw him in the pail.
That pail is a weight to turn the light on. It's holding the light on.
Yeah. And I grabbed this barrilete and we had him for supper, and he made a very good supper.
Ah.
So that's one of the dangers of surfing if you're a fish. If you hit the beach, you better swim back out with the wave, otherwise some damn human will pick you up by the tail and put you in a bucket, and then you're doomed.
You have to stay away from the beach.
Stay clear of the beach, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good advice for a kayaker, too.
Yeah.
Because I've been in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
Thrown up by a wave on the beach, head first, head down, crash.
Mm-hmm.
Can break your neck.
Mm-hmm. Then you might have to write a book like this guy that had brain damage and talked about his brain damage.
But he was still capable of writing a book.
Somehow.
Yeah. He probably dictated it to her.
Yeah. Or he might have been like Stephen Hawking and he'd press buttons or just like move his tongue left and right and indicate which word to print next. I don't know.
Oh, I have no idea.
I don't remember the name of the book, otherwise I'd give you the title.
Oh. What was the title?
I don't remember.
How to Survive Brain Damage?
No, it's someone that's already tales of something. He's already done it. A brain damaged victim. I don't know what it's called. That's in the tagline, the subtitle. I don't remember the title or the subtitle correctly. But luckily, you've had all these narrow escapes and survived, like not being crushed by a tree.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Right.
So there's what kind of coral? What's your favorite kind of coral?
I don't know if I have a favorite. To look at, beautiful.
Yeah.
They're all beautiful, but when they're alive, a coral has
Yeah.
color. It's not just white. It has
Yeah.
shimmering color. You know, a coral is an organism, an animal organism, and the actual coral that we see, the mineral content, is just the home of the polyps. And polyps are not individuals, but they're all like
They live
fingers.
in a colony.
Yeah, but they're all really one organism. And there are millions and millions of polyps, which are the sort of extensions of that organism.
This is a piece of dead coral.
Yeah.
So it's like a city or a skyscraper, many small apartments.
Or a condominium. Or
Each
something.
one of those holes that you can see, the large holes, like 1 or 2 millimeters across, that's not what the thing lives in. I think that inside there's a whole bunch of more smaller holes. Here, my dad will confirm that. You
I
can
don't know if
see.
anyone's ever dissected a coral, but apparently, according to, scientific reports, the things that you see on the ends
Yeah.
are the polyps, but they
Yeah.
are all unified in the center into one, I don't know, blob.
So these are their feet or mouths.
The appendages or the
I
mouths.
thought they were individuals. So you're saying
Yeah,
that's
people
one.
did think they were individuals, but apparently they're all part of one
So
organism.
one organism with many appendages, and
Yeah.
as it grows, it may get more and more of them.
And they keep accumulating calcium and building little houses for themselves.
Yeah,
which
and this
just-
thing just gets bigger and bigger, and so
Yeah.
it can end up with more and more of those
I've
holes
seen
on
coral the size of this yurt.
it. More and more holes on it over time, bigger
Yeah.
and bigger.
Right,
So, but inside these holes, you see a ring of smaller holes, right?
right.
So they're
Oh
that's
yeah,
how
you
small
can
they are.
go down layer by
They're
layer.
very
and
tiny.
They always look the same.
Well, what I mean is that they're just very small.
Yeah. But they're part of something bigger.
There you go. You can see it.
It's like an allegory of humanity. We think we're individuals, but we're all part of the great and doomed human race.
Groupthink, a
Groupthink.
collective consciousness.
Collective consciousness. Or
Yeah.
collective unconsciousness.
There's both.
Or collective semi-consciousness.
Yeah. We have all of that.
Actually, we're semi-comatose.
Yeah.
Are you feeling semi-comatose this morning?
No,
I am.
a little when we woke up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The tea helps with that.
Helps to wake you up or helps to keep you asleep?
Wake you up.
Oh, no more
There's no
tea.
more tea.
No more tea. What a calamity.
Yeah. But we have quite a bit of hilarity, which is good.
We do have hilarity.
And I was thinking about what I have to choose, what kind of variety. You know, what
Yeah.
tea do I bring to Mexico?
One thing you really have to be careful of is profundity, because it can drown you.
What about profanity?
Profanity will liven you up.
Yeah. It's very expressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bengal spice, see the tiger tea. So I got lots of that, but maybe I should get more of it, because I only have 1 tea bag per day for my 6 months.
That would not be enough for me.
172. But maybe, I mean, you don't have tea bags anyway. You got tea. Well, you
But
said
if I did use tea bag, 1 would not be enough.
like 4 a day for you
4 or
personally.
5, yeah.
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 But you don't use tea bags. You got the loose
No, I
leaf
don't
tea.
use tea bags. I use real tea.
And so you said you'd bring 2 pounds per month. 12 pounds for 6 months.
Yeah.
So you didn't trust the Mexican supply. You brought it down,
No, you
right?
can't buy tea in Mexico.
Because it's different kinds. You're not going to get the good stuff.
Yeah. I tell you about the
If you
time.
buy tooth floss for your teeth there, it'll be a different brand. But most things will be. I got some tea that was apple cinnamon, and I don't think it was it may not have been really good for me. So anyway, I'm bringing tea down this time. Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, the one and only, no, one of the main attempts I ever made to buy tea in Mexico. It was a complete fiasco. It was in
let's put that in the next story.
complete
and
fiasco is not the name of the place.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
What's the name of the place? Ciudad Matamoros.
It wasn't an inferno either.
No.
And this tea was not a Resuscita Muertos.
No.
Like Mondongo.
I had run out of Canadian tea.
Okay, but that'll be another story.
Yeah.
Okay, so more at dixtravels.com. Laugh your way through life. Hilarious travel tales. Hilarity is the key to reality. Isn't that right, Dad?
Yeah, what's left of it is right. The
You
other
mean
half
what's
is
left of reality?
What's left of reality?
We'll make
is
fun of
what's
it and
right.
we'll have
That's
more.
when what is left is right.
We'll make the most of it.
Yeah.